What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
It's Monday. You know what that means. The Dudes Who Bet Sports show is live. I got choked talking there. I got to get going. I got to get lived up here for the show. What's up, Papa Dude?
Well, you probably haven't been on any shows today, have you?
No, I've done 3 recordings that'll be out later tonight, I guess now. Yeah. So no, I have been up and around. Yes.
Okay. I thought you were overly excited because you haven't been on the air too much.
No, I'm over excited from AEW last night. That's true. But no, Magic sucked all the life out of me. That was the thing early in the week or earlier in the day, doing some horse racing stuff, obviously, and it will be out, like I said, later today, first thing tomorrow, one of the two. We've got an updated Kentucky Derby top 10. We got a video coming out on Morello, and we have a video coming out, the top 5 horses in training in the United States right now. And then also Magic Mike did a show just before us, and Jared's got a video up on Taba, the impressive maiden winner for Bob Baffert. So we got a lot going on, plus this show. So as always, busy.
You bet. This is a busy time for all of us.
Yes. Yeah. And Isaac joining us today as well. Good to see you, Isaac. And go Warriors tonight. Let's kick it off. Let's kick it off with the Warriors. Okay. What is wrong with the Warriors, Papa Dude?
They're injured.
Is that the biggest problem?
Yes. Okay. They have one starter that's going to play tonight.
Wow.
I've never done this. Never bet against them since they got good as an 8 or 9 point underdog. It was 8 early this morning. I bet it's went up since then against the Nuggets tonight. And I looked at that and I thought, what is going on? So I did some research. They're all out. And that includes Curry. So I picked as my best bet today, probably will regret it. I picked the Nuggets because you can't win when you're playing your B team against a pretty good team. And
as you were talking, I pulled it up, and yes, they are 8-point underdogs tonight against the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, here's another thing that always bothers me a little bit. I don't trust those when they say they're out. Wouldn't shock me if I turn that game on tonight and there's Curry out there hitting threes from all over the place. When I made that, I got up real early this morning and wrote my articles and stuff, and I knew I was going to have a busy day. And that was like I just saw that like at 7:30 this morning. There's a lot that could happen between now and when they tip off. But as far as what they all said, everything I read, everyone's out except somebody I've never heard of, and that's true. I've never heard of the guy who's still playing. What's his name? Klay Thompson.
Uh-huh.
He's out. Wiggins is out. Draymond Green has been out forever. And now Curry. And Curry's the most important one. That's why I picked the Nuggets, because without him, I just don't see how they can beat a good team unless the Nuggets see that all these players are out and they're not ready to play, which happens sometimes.
With all the injuries tonight, does the Joker get over 24.5 points for the Nuggets?
I would think.
I would think so too. I would definitely think so too. I pulled up the standings real quick as you were kind of going through what's going on with the Warriors. And, I think the last time we pulled these up, it was nip and tuck between Phoenix and Golden State. Right. And now if you can see on the screen, or even if you're listening here, I'll tell you that Warriors are 8 games out of first. And actually the Memphis Grizzlies, who are very consistent, have been all year, are tied with them right now. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, and right now the Suns are in trouble too because Chris Paul's out.
Yep.
And Devin Booker has COVID.
Yep.
And he's been out. And that's why they've been struggling a little bit. You can't lose them both. That's for sure. And the other night, this NBA is crazy. Memphis lost to Houston,
Yeah.
the worst team in the league, one of the worst. And they lost, and they didn't just lose, they got drilled. This shows you it's kind of nuts right now. Not as nuts as NHL. Man, I don't know about you, but I am sucking it up in the NHL. It is tough.
Yeah,
Right.
the NHL has been impossible to get right the last week and a half. And I feel like the NBA caught on to that last week, like you said.
Yeah.
I was, and you were too, both of us were having just really, really good success in the NBA for what, a 4 or 5 week string where we were hitting, 70% of the games. And then last week, I don't know if I had a winning record. I think I went 500 maybe last week.
No, you were okay. You're better than that.
I don't know.
Feel like it, and I was better than that too. It didn't feel like it because we were missing some of these ones we were sure of.
Yeah, that's true.
And that makes you think you're sucking it up whenever you can't. Like Memphis and Houston, okay, I never would have bet the game because of the point spread. It's too big for a team that's on the road. But when I saw they lost, I had to look at it like 3 times.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe that either. And with the NBA, we don't have I don't have an NBA package or anything. So I scoreboard watch a lot in the NBA. We only get the national games basically. And the Thunder, of course, I used to watch a lot of the Thunder, but not so much anymore. But yeah, scoreboard watch. I watched that one. I thought, well, they got the score flipped, because it was such a blowout as well. So
and the other one last night that made no sense, the Knicks have just been horrid. And they've been on the road for a long time out west, which is a terrible trip for an East team to make. They've been playing awful. Came off a tough loss the night before or 2 nights before. Went into LA to play the Clippers. Clippers been playing pretty well. I think they were only a 4-point favored. I thought this is an easy one. That's my best bet. Knicks beat them 116-93.
I know.
Makes no sense.
I know. Ashley chimes in. So we're gonna turn our attention to hockey. This is great. The viewers have kind of led us in the direction. I wanted to talk about the NHL and NBA before we got going because we've talked about it a lot. I mean, some I should say, but we kind of ignore it with college basketball going on, and we got so much college basketball that's going to happen the next 2 or 3 weeks on our shows. I wanted to get some NBA and NHL talk. Yeah. Ashley comes in and says the Leafs, talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs, are struggling at the moment. Is it goalie issues? And we kind of touched on it. It's been a little crazy with the NBA and the NHL. I think it's more of just the in-between time of when it's really, really going to get intense, late March, April, and then the playoffs, obviously. And it's just kind of the lull of the season. The Blues lost a couple of games. It's like they just weren't quite there. I don't think they're teams that are struggling the last week or so and maybe on into this week. I think it's just kind of the lull of that time right before it gets really serious. What's your take on why the upsets are happening?
Yeah, I think you're right. And how much does the trade deadline that's coming up really quick?
Yep.
Sometimes teams don't play well right before that trade deadline, because there's guys on the team that there's rumors going around that, they're going to trade this guy and this guy to bolster their team for the stretch run. I don't know whether that's it, but sometimes that is a factor also for these teams that are playoff bound and wanting to improve their chances in the Stanley Cup. There's lots of rumors going around. Toronto, they're struggling. The other team that's really biting the dust right now are the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
They are in a really bad stretch, and they're falling fast. And what's scary in the Blues division is the number 4 team now tied for 3rd with the Wild, and that's the Dallas Stars.
Mm-hmm.
We all in that division know how good Dallas is or can be. And they got off to kind of a slow start. They're playing great. And look what they are now. They're only 4 behind the Blues. And that's going to be a wild finish because you got Nashville in there with 66 points. I mean, you got a 4-team race for those last 3 playoff spots because Colorado's got it.
Yeah.
And then the Pacific, holy moly. Look at that.
Yeah, the West. Well, before I get to the West, to kind of finish up the East talk, you kind of know who the playoff teams are.
in the
right.
East,
I mean,
yes.
there's not going to be a lot. There might be changes in positioning, but
Yes.
Tampa, Florida, Toronto, and Boston, they all look real good. They're going to make it. Carolina,
Yes.
New York, Pittsburgh, and Washington, they all look real good. They're going to
They
make
do.
it. Now, we could see some seeding changes, but
Yeah.
those teams are going to make it. Down here is crazy in the
It's
West.
nuts. I mean, you got the 2 first place teams. They're probably solid. You know, even though Calgary's only ahead by 4, they're playing really, really well. And if you'll notice, they've only played 54 games. And these other teams have played 3 and 4 games more than them. So, because that's an advantage for them. Had they played the same number of games, they probably would be more than 4 points ahead, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I like them. I think they're solid. Colorado's solid in the Central. And then it's dog eat dog the rest of the way in those other 2 divisions there.
Well, 2 through 6 in the Pacific Division separated by 7 points. I mean, that is tight. And then on the other side, 2 through 5 separated by 5 points. So,
right. And in simple terms, for those of you that don't understand hockey, 7 points is equal to 3.5 games. So if this baseball team, you would be 3.5 games behind whoever. And with 25, 26, 27 games to go, lots of games.
Yeah.
And then five points would be 2.5 games. And I'm telling you, you better start winning some games if you're in those spots there. So.
Yeah, I mean, you got a team like the Winnipeg Jets, who I think they're a decent club, really, and they really. I'm not going to say they don't have any chance, but they're up against it in a big way because they're in there. Like I said, the Dallas Stars are a very good team. Nashville, that's a pretty good team to be 5th in the Central.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot going on there in the Central and the Pacific Division. The Western Conference is going to be very competitive coming up in the last, like I said, 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Ashley brought up Edmonton. Yeah, right now they're on the outside looking in. They've just squandered opportunities with these guys. They've got 2 great players. Well, one really great player. There's just not enough around them, and they don't have the goaltending. I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, I do too. And didn't Montreal go in there and beat them just a night or so ago?
Yes. Yeah, they lose games like that all the time. That's their problem. And that's, to Mark's point, that's what kind of bothers you about the Blues. They lost back-to-back games against teams that aren't in the playoffs. And boy, that's tough.
And Mark, what bothers me, and I've tweeted it a couple of times, when the Blues play the lesser teams, that's when they play the worst. It seems to me like the Devils have beat them twice since the All-Star break.
Yep,
twice. And the Devils have won like 19 games.
Yeah, you see right down here, the Devils have 45 points, second to last.
20 games.
And the Metropolitan and the New York Islanders beat them, and they have 50 points. So it's been disappointing.
And then Montreal beat them.
Well, yeah, and that's another subject.
And they've also got a loss this year to Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you're throughout the season, you're going to have tough losses, but you're gonna those last 2 are really going to come back to bite you.
The only excuse, and I hate excuses worse than anybody, they have been on the road for 8 of the last 9 games.
Yeah.
And part of that reason was they had to go back up to for a Canadian trip that had been postponed because of COVID. And so then that combined with their regular scheduling games put them on the road for 8 out of 9 games. And that's a tough stretch. It really is. So.
Yeah. Magic Carrots is joining us, and he says, or asks the question, New York Rangers, a dangerous contender. I know you really liked the Rangers when you watched them play the Blues. I've watched the Rangers a lot. A resilient bunch is how I would describe them. I think they can get out of the Metropolitan. I really do. I don't know if they can match up with the Tampa, Florida, one of those 2 teams. Right now they're going to take on the Penguins in the first round. That's a toss-up. If they could get by them, I think they can beat Carolina. I don't know, though, if they can make it all the way. What are your thoughts on the Rangers?
Well, to me, you look at the East, you got Tampa and Florida. one of those teams is not going to get out of that.
I know.
The second round?
Yeah.
They're not. And they're both capable of winning the Stanley Cup, and that's what's tough about winning this thing. Boston is playing really well now. They're going to be a tough team. If it ended today, Tampa would have to beat them.
Yeah.
And they probably would, but God, I'd hate to go beat the Bruins.
Yeah.
Toronto's not playing very well. And I think the Bruins may catch them if Toronto doesn't get going. Then you look at the Metropolitan and you got Carolina, the Penguins, and the Rangers. Don't discount the Capitals. They've been struggling, but they won the last two. They got some pretty good players on the Capitals team. That's what makes it tough. Yes, Magic Carrots. I don't think I've ever said that before. There's a lot of things I'm doing I've never said before, but anyway, done before. I think the Rangers are a contender. Sure. But you can say that about 10 teams.
Yeah, that's the problem. But yeah, I mean, I think listen, I've said it on the show a lot. I really like Calgary. And Colorado's the obvious one, and Florida. So those are the three I like. So see how it shakes out. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Rangers make a run. Like I said, very gritty bunch. Ashley says hardest trophy by far to win is the Stanley Cup, and there is no debating. I totally agree with that. We've said that before. Yeah, the postseason it's just rough.
And you can always depend. There's going to be a team come out of there that no one of us is thinking about. It happens every year. One of those final four teams will be someone we didn't really think would be there.
Yeah,
they get hot. The goalie gets hot. And next thing you know, they've upset a couple teams, and there they are. So Montreal last year.
Yeah, perfect example. I can remember Calgary making a great run 1 year. Edmonton made a great run 1 year, seemingly out of nowhere.
The Blues in 2019.
Sure. And Ashley says, hey, the Stars may fit that bill a little bit. Right. They're getting hot.
Great hockey.
Yeah. And I agree with Cindy's comment here. Hockey placing means nothing now. You just got to get in, get the goalie hot, get into the playoffs. And you can make a run. Yeah,
get a break. You got to get a break. You got to win a game you shouldn't have.
Yeah, exactly. Magic Carrot. Yeah, I totally. Magic Carrot said must be a slow sports day when one of the headlines was the new NFL playoff logo. I don't know. The big headline now is Ridley betting on football and being suspended all of this coming 2022.
Phil, didn't he? I just saw that just a little bit ago.
He supposedly wagered $1,500 total on football.
Did he bet it on several games, or
he bet like a few parlays basically, and
and were they games he was involved in?
They were games the Falcons were involved in, and he was betting on the Falcons to win those games. As far as the last report I heard before we went on the air,
1,500.
Yeah.
Not a hefty gambler there. I don't know how many games he bet on. Didn't I see where he got suspended for a year?
Yes. Right? Yeah. I think with sports betting becoming legal in more states, they're stepping up and making examples out of people in these situations. I think the leagues are very worried about this. And
that's true.
If we're being honest, I bet you there's a hell of a lot more that are betting.
I don't know how you can control that, Aaron. I really and truly don't.
Well, I don't. I think it's hard. I know in horse racing, jockeys have runners that maybe they're not on at the windows betting, but they've got people betting for them, and I've seen trainers bet all the time. So
bet all the time.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. And Dennis says jockey gets 60 days, NFL player gets a year. Well, that's horse racing. So
never thought I'd see the day though that a college player was making $1 million playing college football either. So
well, that's true. That's very true. All right, speaking of horse racing, let's do it real quick, and then we will get to the basketball tonight and what happened last weekend as well. We'll do it quick, like I said, but we did talk about the three races. And now on the Thursday show, I should say, and now let's kind of just recap them a little bit. We'll start up in New York with the Gotham Stakes, a race that I thought was more impressive than I thought it would be. People might know my thoughts if they've been watching the YouTube channel, so I'll kick it to you first. What did you think of Morello winning the Gotham? I don't know your thoughts.
I always like it when you throw it to me first. All right. Now, it's just kind of interesting, though, you and I doing this, because we have the expert analysis, and you got a guy who knows a little bit more than the normal person.
Right.
But I'm not into it quite as much. So I'm kind of seeing it from probably 95% of our audience's perspective, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you guys know more than that. Maybe I'm not giving you enough credit. But I thought he looked pretty good in that race. I didn't really like him too much. I think I did pick him because I thought the field was weak. That's the only thing I'm worried about. How good was the field? But I thought he ran really well. He stretched out like you should, put him away in a first stakes, right? Wasn't that his
first graded stakes?
The other one he ran in was just a rinky-dink little thing.
Yeah.
And this was a graded stakes win.
Mm-hmm.
Natural progression we're seeing. Break the maiden, win a rinky-dink stakes, and then get into a graded one and win easily. You know more about it than I do as far as the fractions and the buyers and all that. But just from the naked eye, he looked pretty good to me.
See, that's what you said is so true, and I want to get your take on it, because you don't watch it and go, well, how did he do it, or what did he do, or what times, or he's like, I'm watching this race and I want to tell you if this horse looked good or not. It just based on how he looked. And I think your answer's right. He passed the test as far as this is a horse who looked awfully good. I love the 6 furlongs to 7 furlongs to a mile. Now we'll go a mile and an eighth next. They've, like you said, really progressed him well. Races get harder each time, but he's passed every test so far.
Yes.
As far as Gotham winners goes, he's the best one in recent years, and I think a 96 buyer ranks right up there with the other two performances. So I think he's one to take serious. He's a fringe top 10 for me now. I think I put him at number 8
Did you?
on my top 10. Yeah, I don't know what we really want him to do other than what he's been doing. Right? Like after the race, Jared was like, "That was awful." I was like, "What? I mean, do you want him to run backwards in the stretch?" I don't like
96. That's not that bad.
Yeah, and it's just like he won by like 4 or 5 lengths, and it's just like
he stretched out. I mean, he did everything he's supposed to do. Yeah. He put the field away. What else you want?
Yeah, he stalked the pace. He pounced. He easily passed the leader, and he
sounds like Jared picked somebody else.
Well, yeah, he picked the last place finisher, and that's why he was mad.
That's why that sounds typical at the track. My horse ran like that horse isn't any good. I mean, that. So
yeah.
I'm kidding you, Jared.
Which is kind of weird, because if the field is trash and your horse finished last, then that's even worse, right?
You didn't make a very good pick, but
well, yeah.
We've all been there. If your
horse finished last, you go, well, gosh, those horses ran better than I thought they would.
Well, that's not the way I am. If I'm at the track and my horse finishes last and I picked, I think, my God, how stupid was I?
Yeah, for sure.
But I tell people I didn't pick that horse, or I did it by mistake. But anyway, I'm just kidding you, Jared. We've all been there. I feel like that horse did everything he was supposed to do. Now, I have a question, because, Asmussen's my favorite trainer. Besides, he's my favorite trainer that's really relevant right now. D. Wayne's my favorite. But is it strange to you, and you're so much more knowledgeable than I am, that he doesn't have this horse at Oaklawn or at the fairgrounds? Is it because he just wanted to ship a decent horse to Aqueduct and to have one up there?
That's a good question. It's a good question. We talked about it a little bit. Samich and I did on the Hype Show. The owners are from New York, so that's one thing. But the horse has never left New York. All of his races have been at Aqueduct. Usually, all of his good horses leave New York. He'll leave a few up there, but nothing of any relevance. So I think he did surprise Asmussen that he's been this good, and I think a lot of it is, the New York, connections. They said after the race, we don't know how far he's going to run, but we really want to win the Travers, So,
well, you just explained a lot to me. The owners want to go see the horse run.
It seems like that's the case. I didn't know the answer to that until after the race. You see the comments. It's like, okay, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
it is odd. I don't love it. That's why I'm not sitting here going, okay, I think we're winning this whole thing. But
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, and I'm just looking at it from what I've seen from him over the years, I doubt that he's up there with that horse much, right?
yeah, no,
He's with the ones like Epicenter.
I doubt Steve Asmussen has seen this horse since the summer, probably.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. So
He's with the ones he thinks are his best, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah. Yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how he progresses. Mark chimes in and says Asmussen Cox don't have a solid 3-year-old this year, in my opinion, unless you count the Gotham winner. Secretariat is the last Gotham winner to win the Derby. Mark, what about Epicenter? You don't think he's a legitimate candidate for Steve Asmussen? Now, Cox, I don't think has anything, but
no, and that's odd. I think maybe Mark might have forgot about.
Yeah, I think you have to count Epicenter as at least a solid 3-year-old.
That is surprising that Brad Cox doesn't have much.
Now, with the Cox thing, he came out, probably January. They had an article, and he was like, I don't have anything. He literally said, yes. He said, I got one horse. It's a Cyberknife who won an allowance recently. He said, maybe him, but that's it.
And sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just happens. I don't know how many horses Brad has total. I don't know. Of course, Asmussen's got 9 million, so he's gonna have one somewhere. Yeah. But
Dennis says that and by the way, Mark did forget about Epicenter.
Yeah.
But Dennis says he just thinks Epicenter was the fitter horse that day in Louisiana, and he's not really that good. That's very possible. If you remember, he had been running over the track. He had 3 races under his belt, and all of the main contenders were making their debuts. So that next race will be very interesting because they're kind of going to be on even terms a little bit going into that one. So I don't fully disagree with that. I think he's good, but I do agree that next test is going to tell us everything. Sandy says, I'm curious, how many horses does one trainer run in a year? Just depends on the trainer. A guy like Asmussen will run hundreds.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends on the trainer.
How many do you think Brad Cox has, Aaron? Approximately 60. See it more than that, you think?
He's got a fairground string. He's probably got more. I'd say.
Okay.
I'd say he's in triple digits. I'm tough. I have a tough time guessing. He's got a full barn at Oaklawn and a full barn at Fairgrounds, and he's also got horses already working out at Keeneland. So
so he's got 100 at least.
Yeah. He definitely has more than 60. Yeah. All right, let's move on to another. Listen, we got 2 of the 3 races right. Let's move on to the San Felipe next. It's Forbidden Kingdom. Now, you watch this horse. Give us your thoughts on Forbidden Kingdom and his win in the San Felipe.
Well, he looked awesome to me. I would start to finish, kick their ass and get it over with. I mean, that was just an old-fashioned deep down. So you have to ask yourself, was the field weak or is he that good? I don't know that. Pretty small field.
Yeah.
So he looked like the real deal to me. I mean, what was he supposed to do?
Yeah, that's another one.
Runs him into the ground. What are you supposed to do? What was his buyer?
He got a 98 buyer for the victory. He looked really good. He ran fast early, but he was way away from everybody. And like I said, he just ran him into the ground. The Baffert horse Doppelganger closes sort of for second. I mean, he passed the other horses, but he wasn't even close.
Yeah. Now here's the deal. Small field, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a bigger one, probably. Well, eventually it will when he gets to Kentucky Derby. Those California fields are small, aren't they, for the most part, usually?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So I'm assuming he will go to the Santa Anita Derby, right?
Yep. That's next.
What will they have, 8 or 9?
Mm-hmm. I would say maybe. Well, I bet 6 or 7 because if him and Messier are in it, they're not going to get anybody else.
Okay.
So they may even get 5.
Yeah. So the test is going to come later.
Yeah.
Because he's not run. And I heard D-Rain in a speech. I don't know if you saw that, but They had that full speech he gave the other night on Twitter, and I was listening to it, and it's really interesting. Everybody needs to. It's probably on YouTube. You need to listen to him talk about the Kentucky Derby and how unfair it is. And we'll get to that later because I totally agree. And talking about how horses react when they get there, and there's 20 of them in a field, and they've never run in that before, and you don't know how that horse is going to act. So that'll be something to look at this horse.
His big question mark will be what happens when there's another horse with early speed out there with him, with really solid early speed. You're going to have to be fast to run with him, though, because he's
good.
He's the fastest we've seen so far early.
Where have you got him ranked there?
I put him number 3. Number 3.
I would agree.
I just have a hard time putting him number 1. And this is why. I said before the race, Forbidden Kingdom kind of reminds me of the Factor. The Factor came to the Rebel and everybody said, oh, he won't get the distance. He got out in the front. He was running slower fractions than he normally would run in sprints. He loved it. He just gate to wire, smoked him, stretched him out. Some other speed went with him the next time, and he couldn't handle it. So that's still in the back of my mind. Yeah. I'm not saying that that's going to happen with Forbidden Kingdom, but I still want to see one more from him going longer. But he looked awfully good. I mean,
well, here's the deal with horse race. We can only judge what we've seen, right? And then we can think about other things, but at this point, he's got to be in the top 3 or 4. Right?
I don't know how you couldn't have him in the top 3 or 4 after that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Dennis is mad because Johnny V didn't try on the 3 horse for Bob Baffert. Yeah. Dennis, I think obviously it's easy to say this now that the race is over, but it kind of looked like a situation where that horse was just in the race to try to mess with the 5. And when he couldn't get to, or could try to set it up for the 5, I should say. And when he couldn't get to Forbidden Kingdom, they just said to hell with it. I mean, that's what it looked like to me. So just one of those things that happens sometimes when you got a trainer that's entered 2. You enter a rabbit, the rabbit can't get there. What are you going to do?
Yep.
It's just how it is. Flavien Prat and Umberto Rispoli moving over to the East Coast, which leaves nobody basically at Santa Anita. I think they'll do well, especially Flavien Prat. I think he will do very well, and he's got connections with Chad Brown, and that's a good start. So, I think they're going to have good success. I think they're very, very good, both of them on the turf. Then the major question mark for Forbidden Kingdom is the distance, and I mean it is for all of them at this point. He hasn't done anything wrong so far, though. So, okay, last race. The one, I got wrong at least. Emmanuel gets 4th in the Fountain of Youth. Simplification, despite a kind of a rough journey, gets the job done and wins this thing and wins it going away. What were your thoughts on Simplification?
I was very impressed with, I thought he had a terrible trip. He was way outside for so long, as was Emmanuel. Didn't you think they both had horrible trips?
Yes.
Yeah, that's hard to judge that race because I think they both had troubles. What's oversimplification? Whatever his name is, simplification supposed to do? It's simplification. Okay.
Yeah.
What's he supposed to do? I mean, what was that one time he was 6 wide?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he won.
I feel like he had a horrific trip and still won. That's 2 times in a row he's had a bad trip, but still ran pretty well. Of course, he got 2nd in the Holy Bull 2 races back. I want to really, really like him because I do think he's good and I think he's tough and I just think he's just gritty, and he's got a lot of talent. I really worry about he gets that trip in a 20-horse field. What is going to happen to that horse? That's the problem.
He's not going to win.
The thing that's not infuriating, that's the wrong word. The thing that could infuriate me, he has shown he can win gate to wire. But going into the Holy Bull, he was a speed horse. Going into this Fountain of Youth, we thought, well, he'll break better and be a speed horse. So the scary thing is if you ride him off in the Derby and you say, he can't win with that trip, and then all of a sudden he breaks well and he's back up towards the front again, he can beat you. So He's a really tricky one. I'm having a hard time deciding what to do with that horse.
Now he'll run in the Florida Derby, right?
Yep, he'll run in the Florida Derby. He'll rematch with White Abarrio, the horse who beat him in the Holy Bull. So
why did he not run in this one?
They just skipped it. They wanted to give him a little more time, so they skipped it, and they're going to point to the Fountain of Youth. He's back on the work tab, getting ready for the Florida Derby. So he's back on the work tab and getting ready.
We'll find out a lot more then.
Yeah. Let's see. Mark says, may have missed it. Any thoughts on Paco Lopez and his ride on In Due Time? Paco and Irad are reckless. So yeah, I'm sure you saw it. Well, did they edit out the version that you saw, the replay of the two horses that went down?
I did not. I didn't see it. They talked about it.
Okay, so two horses went down. Paco kind of made a chain reaction.
I saw a video of it. Yes, later. Yesterday I saw.
I think Paco and Irad, they really need to. Honest to God, they need to have the shit beat out of them. They are two guys that need to be taken out behind, the barns and just somebody beat the hell out of them. They're reckless. They do this shit all the time, and it's got to stop. I mean, what are we? How bad does it have to get before we finally?
I think Paco's lucky he's alive.
Well, I mean, he's. If you watch it day in and day out, he causes so many problems.
Okay.
I think he's a good rider, honestly, but I just think he's reckless. And, Ricardo Santana went through that a little bit coming up at Oaklawn, but he was a young guy and they kind of got him where he's not so reckless anymore. But the Paco and Irad, these guys are experienced guys, and it was bad. It was bad. And very lucky Junior Alvarado goes down. Both horses, thank God, are fine.
Yes.
And both jockeys are fine. So it's wild.
If I had not known that he was okay, I can't remember where I saw that. I probably saw it on Twitter. Man, the tumble he took. Oh my God, he flew off that horse.
Yeah, Junior was really upset after the race. So and of course, both the Bill Mott horses go down. How weird is that? I mean, just crazy. So
yeah, it's just that's the bad part of horse racing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That's the tough part, and I'm so afraid that's going to happen in Kentucky Derby one of these days. And 20 horses out there. I just breathe a sigh of relief when that race is over every year.
And Sydney says she blames the stewards for allowing these reckless rides. I agree. It's just they don't. Yeah. They never do anything about it. And in this situation, no disqualification. So I
might give them 3 days off.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And they'll let them choose when they can have it. Like, oh, you got a 5-day suspension. It's when we're not running hardly anything here. You can take it. Well, that doesn't hurt anything. You're right. Didn't Paco and Irad have it out already? Yeah, they have. They've had a little spat. So, Emmanuel, final thing on him. Had a bad trip, no doubt. Everything went wrong for Horse Trying Stakes Company moving up in class for the first time, but don't love him. Really don't love him after this. Gonna have to get a lot better. I realized it was a bad trip. The winner got a bad trip.
He did.
I mean, I would have liked to see him hang in there, get second, get third.
That's the bad part. That's the bad part. He didn't hang in there. He came out of that bad trip okay. He had a chance.
He turned for home. Simplification passed him, and I thought, okay, if he just kind of goes with him, gets second, I won't be too down on him. But In Due Time passes him, and In Due Time got a pretty ground saving trip. It's like, okay, and then like an 80 to 1 shot gets by. It's like, it's a bad sign.
He kind of quit,
and then he barely beat Dean Delivers, who's I think kind of a 1-turn horse.
Not impressive.
I think he's got. I think he's got some work to do. Short stretch, Gulfstream, get passed by a few. I know he had a wide trip, but it wasn't great. He feels a lot to me like one that's going to run a lot better in the Florida Derby. Probably going to get a lot better trip.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to turn for home. You're like, he's got a shot today, and he'll get like second or third.
Probably, yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. And I wish that race would have been the Holy Bull. And then he could kind of work out some issues in the Fountain of Youth and then really be primed for the Florida Derby. I just think he's a little behind. He's not quite there yet. So that's where
The
I'm at.
Lescano thing they're mentioning here now too.
Mm-hmm.
That is bizarre.
So you saw the Lescano looking around like
What was going on there?
we don't know. We're gonna have a review on Friday. I'm sure we'll hear a lot.
I don't think I've ever seen a jockey look around that much.
I don't know what the hell he was doing.
I don't either.
I don't know.
That was a strange one.
Jockeys and looking around. Okay, if you're a jockey and you're looking backwards and you're looking all around, your horse better kick on and win by like 6.
Yeah.
If they don't, then you're gonna look bad.
Well, I've seen them turn around when they're 3 and 4 lengths ahead.
Yeah, just
to make sure no one is coming on.
And that makes total sense. You look back, and the reason they're looking back, it's like, okay, if nobody's getting close, I don't have to ask this horse, and we can save the horse for the next. But if you're like, this happened to me, I swear to God, 4 times on Sunday at Oaklawn. On the turn, the horse I've bet, the jockey's looking around, and I'm like, okay. And the horse barely even hits the board in almost all of them. Then none of them won. And I'm like, what are you like? Why are you doing that? I don't know. Like, and what do you think you're going to see when you look behind you? I think
when you're on the turn, I don't know. You know,
I mean, do you think you're really going to look back and there's not going to be a horse? Like, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, it was, but that Lescano thing was crazy.
It was pretty wild.
Crazy. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Final thing we'll do tonight, a little college basketball recap. We'll cut it a little short because we went a little long on the racing, but that's all right. That was a good discussion there on the big preps. And we'll go through the top 25. It's almost college tournament time. We'll talk, or college conference tournament time, I should say. We'll talk about that on Thursday, but final recap of the top 25. We'll start with this one. Arizona over Cal very easily. And Baylor over Iowa State. Game was tighter than maybe we thought, but still a win. But this is the one, right?
Yeah.
North Carolina goes into Duke, Coach K's last game, and North Carolina smokes them 94-81. They get 55 points in the second half, and they beat Coach K. What was your thoughts on this one?
Well, I got home in time to see this one.
Okay.
Most of it. And I kind of hinted at it on Thursday that sometimes when you overhype something, your team forgets to play, sometimes. And I think we all assumed that Duke would smoke them. I think we all did. I know we did. And North Carolina just decided to play the best game they've played all year. They just kept knocking down shots from everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably play them 10 times in there and they get beat 9. This was the one time. Kind of spoiled the party. I thought it was kind of funny, actually. And so, no, I like Coach K. He's been great for the game. It is sad that he didn't win that last game, but probably if you ask him, he doesn't care. He's getting ready to go. But yeah, it's a shock, a real shock. And I wrote an article today, and I think this is so interesting. North Carolina has been on the bubble. Okay. They're 23-8.
Mm-hmm.
Has a North Carolina team ever been treated with more disrespect than this team?
Yeah, it's crazy.
23-win team from North Carolina, and they're on the bubble. Now, they're not now. But, okay, you know what it is? Roy Williams isn't coaching. Mm-hmm. Dean Smith's not. I guarantee you, if Roy Williams was the coach and they're 23-8, they'd be probably ranked in the top 15. I really think that's it.
I think at the end of the day, they'll be a decent seed, honestly. Like, I don't know. I don't get the hate, but you've said it all year. The ACC is not very good this year.
It's not, but it's not that bad. You got, Duke 126, Notre Dame 22, North Carolina 23, Miami 22, Wake Forest 23. What's wrong with that?
That's true. Yeah.
It's not that bad. I don't understand it. They're going to get 5 teams in, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the media has had it out for the ACC all year long, but they have. I don't get it. This is okay. Would you want to draw North Carolina in the tournament? I wouldn't.
No.
Not want to play North Carolina. You just don't.
Let's
And-
say North Carolina gets a 7 seed,
Okay.
just for sake of argument, and Auburn gets a 2 seed.
Yes, absolutely.
I would be scared to death if I was an Auburn fan.
Yeah,
I think they would get beat. Like I would maybe think about taking North Carolina.
Depends on yeah. Here's the deal. If it's me, I'd be worried more about North Carolina winning the 7-10 game than I would them beating Auburn. I'll just make that statement right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember, and it's been a long time ago, Oklahoma, when Billy Tubbs coached back in the late 80s, was the number 1 seed. North Carolina was 8.
Mm-hmm.
OU won their first game. North Carolina won by like 2 points over a 9 seed
Mm-hmm.
and beat the hell out of Oklahoma. And everybody knew it was going to happen. So
yeah.
I don't know. Probably talked too much about them, but I've seen them a few times. Now there's times they've thrown up some clunkers, but who doesn't? They're decent, and 23 wins ain't nothing to sneeze at, folks. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think they'll be kind of they're going to be a sleeper for sure. And like I said, we'll talk more about the ACC championship, and who knows if they make a run there, they could move right back up into 4 seed, 5 seed.
They could, yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Auburn, they took care of South Carolina. This was a good game. Kansas squeaks by Texas. This was a hell of a game. Went into overtime. Texas put up a much better fight than we thought they would. In the end, though, Kansas pulls away for a 70-63 win. That was a big win for the Jayhawks.
How good is Kansas? I don't know.
Dennis said it earlier. It's been 2-3 weeks ago, maybe 4 now. It's like he didn't like him, and I said, yeah, but at times. But then I stopped myself and said, well, you can't be good at times.
Right.
That's kind of the definition of a team that's not that good. If they can't play well every night, or at least the majority of the nights, they're schizophrenic.
I don't think they're number 6 in the country.
No.
Depending on what they do in the Big 12 tournament, let's say they win it, they're going to get a 2, at least, maybe a 1. It might depend on what happens. It might sneak into a 1. I doubt it, but they might. There ain't no way they're going. They may go out before the Sweet 16. They might.
That's another one. If North Carolina drew Kansas, I'd pick North Carolina.
Yeah, they're beatable. They're beatable.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of 2s and 3s go down in those early rounds.
Because crazy stuff.
The gap between a 2 seed and a 7 seed, or even a 10, if a 10 upsets us, it's not that big this year, guys.
No, this is going to be a fun tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that'll be fun. That'll be a couple of fun shows. We'll talk about that. Kentucky goes to Florida and win. I was not surprised by this. I thought Florida was kind of due to lose one there at home. And I just think Kentucky, they lost to Arkansas on the road. I just didn't see them losing this one. And they pull away late and win this game.
You were adamant about it. You said they were going to win. I kind of argued with you a little bit. That's a good win for Kentucky. I moved them on up even higher than that after that win. Mm-hmm. This SEC tournament is going to be fun to watch too.
Oh my God, it's going to be awesome! It's going to be awesome. And again, we'll talk all about these tournaments on Thursday. I can't wait. I love championship week almost as much as the first weekend of March Madness. It's great. Purdue, boy, they squeaked by Indiana 69-67. Purdue's not playing all that well going into this thing.
No, they're not, and you have to wonder, did they peak too soon? Mm-hmm. Once they got to the Big Ten Conference, they didn't play. They've not played great. They're much better than 14-6 in the Big Ten. I know the Big Ten's tough, but Purdue's got the best team, and they didn't win it. So,
do you want to talk about a conference championship or a conference tournament that's going to be insane?
I won't bet a single game, not a one.
The Big Ten Conference tournament will be
nuts.
I mean, it'll be name the drug. That's what it's going to be like. It's going to be insane.
Yeah. I think Indiana's out, though. I think.
Yeah. Well, shit, they might go win the damn tournament.
They might.
Probably not. I don't think so. Okay. A team that is playing great coming into this, and that's Villanova. They go to Butler, and they don't even make it a game. They jump way out ahead, just dominated them.
Very, very impressive to go in and win like that. Yeah, they are. We'll see how they do in the Big East tournament, because that's another one. That's another league. You got the Big 12, the Big 10, the Big East, and the SEC. It's hard to pick a winner in any of those. But Villanova is the favorite. Yeah, I think after this one, that was impressive.
Like you said, another great tournament, the Big
Yeah.
East. It's going to be pretty good. I didn't watch a second of this game. I totally forgot this one was even going on, and it was. I think they played it when we were really in our busy time on Saturday. But Oklahoma State beat Texas Tech 52-51. Unbelievable.
Yeah, every game in the Big 12 is like that. It seems like it doesn't matter who's playing. So
I will put Tech on first round upset alert. They've lost some, like they lost Oklahoma as well. I don't know about them.
They make it through the first. It depends on what their seeding is, but I wouldn't go much farther with them.
Say they drew like cities like a North Dakota State. I think North Dakota State could beat them. I really do. We'll talk about that game at the very last, Sydney. I promise. Because I'm excited for that game. Let's move on, though. Tennessee, we said it. We said Arkansas is due to lose, and they lost 78-74. Arkansas got way behind.
Yeah,
made a comeback.
Yeah. That's what they're made of. I'm telling you, they're pretty good. Both of those teams are.
Yeah, they're tough. Arkansas is a tough team. They're going to be tough in that tournament. Watch out for them. UCLA beat USC 75-68. These are two teams as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the fence. It's going to depend on who they draw, where they end up. I could see them get beat in the first round. I could see them making a run. It's just going to depend. But this was a really good game. Mm-hmm. Connecticut beats DePaul 75-68. Another game that I didn't watch, I'll be honest. But we kind of talked about on the Thursday show that DePaul is capable, and it was a good win, I think, for Connecticut to hold them off.
Yeah, UConn doesn't beat anybody bad. They're like Providence. Every game's close. They just win most of them. They're another tough team. They're really tough.
So this is one of our favorite teams of the year that we've talked about. Murray State beats Morehead State for the OVC championship 71-67. Watch this off and on. This was a really, really good game. I tell you, where do you think where do you think Murray State will be seated in this thing?
Last time I checked, they had them like at a 9.
Gosh, that's going to be a tough game for somebody.
It is. And this was a huge win for these bubble teams because Murray State was in. They were going to get an at-large bid. And had they lost, that would have taken up a spot for one of these bubble teams. So I guarantee those bubble teams will want Murray State to win because there'll only be one team now that comes out of the Ohio Valley Conference. So, they're pretty good. 30 wins, you can't overlook that. I don't think they'll see them much higher. They may get an 8, maybe. I just don't think it'll go any higher than that.
They're going to be a tough out. I'm telling you.
They're
good. Tough. Yeah, that's going to be that's an interesting
team. That's what that tournament is about. Those kind of teams. And every year seems like somebody makes a run from the mid-major conferences. That's interesting to watch. Last year it was Oral Roberts, and this year, although this team, I don't think you can really call this team Cinderella.
No,
that's a pretty good 30-2 is pretty good.
You're talking if they win their first round, they're going to take on, if they're an 8 and they take on a 1 seed, and that 1 seed is taking on a team that then would be 31-2.
Yeah,
that's not going to be easy. I don't care who it is. So
no, it's not.
That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, final one of the top 25. Alabama, we're on the road to play LSU. We talked about this will be a battle, and it was. It went in overtime. LSU wins it. Both these teams are safely in the tournament,
yes,
I think.
No doubt. Yeah, that was a good game.
Very good game. Very, very good game. All right, let me go to Monday's games. We've only got 10 games. It was nice only handicapping 10 games. The CAA Conference Championship going on right now. Delaware over Townsend at the moment, 59-50. I picked Townsend, so that's bad.
That's a semifinal game.
Oh, I'm sorry. It does say semifinal. It's a CAA championship, then dash semifinal. The other, another semifinal game going on in the Summit League, South Dakota State 55.
This is my favorite team right here.
So this is what we're talking about. If South Dakota State was to lose, they would probably be out. They're not going to lose this semifinal game. They look really good right now.
29 wins now. And you're going to take a team that this will be their 20th win against conference teams with 0 losses.
Yep.
And they don't make the tournament if they get beat. That is ridiculous.
Yes. So South Dakota State, like I said, in that Summit League, in looking like they're going on to the championship. At the half of this semifinal game in the Horizon League, Wright State 36, Cleveland State 26. This would be a little bit of an upset here for sure. A 10-point lead at the half for them. In the Sun Belt Championship, this is the championship game. Georgia State at the half leading Louisiana 42-33.
Yeah,
so
this league's terrible.
Yeah, it will probably be a one and done type team there. And then at the half of the SoCon Championship, geez, I picked Chattanooga. They got 16 points in the first half. Furman leads 26.
I picked them too.
Good Lord.
16 points.
Yeah, 26-16 Furman leads. And yeah, wow, that's
Chattanooga's won 26 games too.
Oh, that's unreal. Well, that makes me mad. Maybe they'll have a big second half.
Yeah, 16. You got to think they're going to score more in a second. Well, obviously more. You got to think they're going to come out of it.
Yes, for sure. The CAA semifinal game, the other, I should say, semifinal game again. The other CAA game was that Delaware Towson game. The other one is Charleston and UNC Wilmington. Who did you pick in that one? Did you pick that one? I can't remember.
I don't think I did, but I would have picked Wilmington because that's my pick to win the tournament. So
yeah,
only because a good friend of both you and I, remember Mike Bennett, the UPS guy?
I sure do.
That's where he went to college, UNC Wilmington.
Yep,
so.
I remember that, and I picked Charleston. To win
okay.
Yeah. I saw where Charleston plays their home games because I was in Charleston earlier in the year, and it's a really cool place. So where they play. So anyway, I picked them, and that's a dumb reason to pick, but anyway, I did. San Francisco and Gonzaga coming up here in about an hour. Gonzaga 14-point favorite here. Listen, there's no upset tonight, right?
No, I don't think they upset. I don't know about that 14 though. I think San Francisco, they beat BYU last night. I think they're in. I think that got them in.
Yeah.
The tournament. I don't think they win. The spread, you might think about that. It's on a neutral floor. And so we'll see.
Dennis chimes in. The live over-under right now for the Chattanooga Furman game is 111.5.
Let's see. They got 42 at the half.
Yeah.
58, 6. They got to score 69 in the second. They got to score 27 more points between them. They might do that. I can see them being like 38, 36 second half, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hard to say. I haven't watched the second of the game.
I didn't watch the first half, so I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you've watched it, you probably have a better idea than we do on that. All right, Sydney brought it up, and I agree. This is going to be a great game. Oral Roberts and North Dakota State tonight, the other Summit League semifinal game. North Dakota State a 1-point favorite. I picked North Dakota State to win the game. I think it's going to be a classic, though.
I never hardly bet against them. When they play the Jackrabbits, I don't bet that game. Just stay away from it. They're pretty good, and so is Oral Roberts. I think they'll win. I don't think Oral Roberts is as good as they have been. So, and you can tell by the record. 18. Is it 18? It's 19-11 now.
Yep.
Cindy, how close is North Dakota State to Sioux Falls, South Dakota? If you're still listening. I'm just wondering if they'll have a bunch of fans there. I'm assuming they will. So
I would think they will. I think North Dakota State as a whole travels very well. And of course, they are known for football, but their basketball program has been fantastic. Let's see, Fargo to Sioux Falls. That looks like,
it's not too far, I don't think.
I don't think it's too far. No, I would guess, let's see, 150 miles would be my guess.
I've been to both of them.
Just eyeballing it.
Yeah. Oral Roberts probably have to. Don't all their fans have to go to church every night?
well, I know that Tulsa is quite a drive. So
yeah, I don't think they'll have too many up there tonight.
No, I would doubt it. I would doubt it very seriously. Yeah. So they probably North Dakota State will have the advantage there.
Yeah, I think so.
In the Horizon League, the other semifinal game tonight, Northern Kentucky takes on Purdue Fort Wayne. Northern Kentucky, a 2-point favorite. Did you look at this one at all?
I did, because that's my pick to win the tournament, the Horizon tournament. So that's Purdue Fort Wayne. So I like them a little bit. I'm kind of mad at that other game because I think I picked Cleveland State.
I did. I picked Cleveland State. Yep.
Although I usually don't bet against Wright State, so I'm not. Maybe I skipped that one. I don't know.
All right, final one tonight: Santa Clara and St. Mary's. Can St. Mary's match up with Gonzaga again? Do we get that matchup? And then maybe St. Mary's could beat them 2 straight times. But what about this game with Santa Clara? Santa Clara is not bad.
They're not bad, and I saw them play each other once, and Santa Clara held them down. I think St. Mary's won, but I went with St. Mary's in this one. Spread's only 5. I think they cover that, and that'll set up a rematch between them and Gonzaga for the West Coast Championship. Both teams are in, though, regardless.
Yeah. I'm going to sit back and enjoy if Gonzaga and St. Mary's plays. That will be a war. That will be a lot of fun. 4 hours away. 4 hours away. Fargo to Sioux Falls there.
Okay.
Get your question. And like you said, North Dakota State's going to travel. There's no
they'll be there. They don't work in North Dakota.
No, that's not true.
When there's a game involved.
That might be true.
Your employer, the Bison, are playing tonight, and they go, "Okay, we'll go have fun."
All right, that's it. That's the slate for tonight. It should be a lot of fun. Like I said, Thursday we'll have a full preview of all the big tournaments still going on and still left. So, all right, that's all we got for tonight. But story time. It's story time with the Ultimates, baby. So let's go. What's your story?
I don't have one. I don't. Let's see. I had a great weekend.
I thought that's what your story would be.
Well, most people don't give a shit about what I did, and I had a good time. I've never thought I would ever do this in my life, and I don't want to offend any females out there, but I am behind a girls basketball team pretty rapidly right now. And my girls got beat yesterday, but they played great. And so I went to Kansas City to see some sort of Southern girls play in the conference championship. They finished second, but they did get into the big dance for the small teams, and that's cool. And so we had a great time. Proud of Joplin for supporting them like they did. Had a big crowd up in Kansas City Municipal Auditorium, which has got history written all over it. A real cool place there, and you've been there. Yep. It's a neat old building, isn't it?
It's very neat building. People are talking about the AEW pay-per-view. I'll get to that in a second, but Municipal Auditorium would be perfect for an AEW event. Oh my God, I would love it. Yeah. It's an old building. Has had a lot of wrestling matches. If they came there, it'd fit it like a glove. But yeah, they won. Like I said, they won on Saturday, and then Sunday, tough loss. So they couldn't score basically. But
it was a lot of fun, and it's kind of D2 is great basketball.
It is, yeah.
They don't know how good these people are. These kids are. They play D2. They're great players. They're just a shade too small, too slow, not to play at the next level. But they're great players. They're just great high school players are fantastic players. That's what people don't understand.
Oh yeah.
D2 is too. And Sandy and I, mainly because of Sandy, as we've kind of gotten to know these girls a little bit, and they know us. Mm-hmm. They're very, very. They're just nice girls. They really are. And you kind of can get behind them a little bit because of the way they play. They play so hard, and they don't bitch at the officials. They don't show off. They just go out and play, and you kind of like that. They're very friendly. And anyway, we had a really good time. Met some people. It's just kind of neat when you go do something like that,
No doubt. I mean, that's great. We've followed the boys before as well, and obviously you would follow the boys, but they weren't very good this year. So,
right. And they do this so well up there. Here's what they do: it's every seat is general admission because the crowds aren't huge.
Yeah,
this is D2. Everybody has to travel a decent distance to get there. And so, their seating is not a problem. It holds 10,500, and there might have been 2,500 there, maybe 3,000. Mm-hmm. So what they'll do is if you want to sit behind your team's bench, you can. And the only rule is when your game is, because there'll be another game coming in right behind yours.
Right. They play the boys and the girls at the same spot for
Right.
people who don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. The boys' tournament and the girls' tournament. And so until you get down to the last day, there's a game behind yours. And there was for us too, because the girls' game was first and then the boys' championship was second. So the rule is when your game is done and the celebrating is over, whatever, you have to get out of your seat and let the next team come in and sit behind their bit. That is such a great idea.
Yep.
And if you want to hang around and watch the other game, there's plenty of good seats. You just get up and you go sit somewhere else.
Yeah, you get out of their way, but you can still go sit at other places. Yeah.
And what they do is we always, when we were there, we played the first game. So when we went in, we just went and sat behind the girls' bench. And it was great. And so what they do is while your game's going on, the other team, they put them in line out there. You get in a line. And when the celebrations or whatever you go, they give you about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. When you're
then they ask you to leave. Of course, everybody does anyway. And you get up and then they let the other bunch come in. And it's just a really cool thing. I think that's a great idea.
It's cool. It's very cool. Yeah. So you have the option to stay in for that next one, but you don't take up their seats, and that makes total sense. Yeah.
And there's plenty of seats. I mean, you could go. Well, Sandy and I got up and went across the arena to the other side, and we sat on the second row, of the arena. I mean, we were just right on the floor almost for the next game, and it's what's she saying there? Tell your coach story when you missed a shot. Coach story when I missed a shot. Oh, I know. Funny and yeah, I'll tell this one real quick.
So just real quick on Southern, girls.
Let's finish this up.
They do move on to the big tournament. Of course, Division II has a tournament just like Division I. They do it a little different. They split up into regions of 8, and they are a 4 seed in that region, and so they will play on March 11th, I think. Right? Yeah.
And there's 8 regions, so there's 64 teams.
64 teams, same type of thing. Instead of a Final Four, it's an Elite 8 that goes on in that division. So
the 8 winners of the regionals then will meet for the Elite 8. I don't know where it's held. Usually it's in Kentucky somewhere, I think. I don't really know. I think it may vary. I don't know.
Tell your story. I'll look it up.
Well, it's just kind of silly, but the other night, I went to my niece coaches 7th grade girls basketball. This has been a couple months ago. Time flies by. In an old gym where I played back in the Stone Age. And so I was sitting there thinking about, this was in Mount Vernon, Aaron, where Aurora doesn't win very often. And so I was sitting thinking about all the games that I played from 7th grade on in that old gym, and we never won a game. So I got to thinking about when I was a freshman, our team we weren't any good. And Mount Vernon was good, and they'd always just beat the crap out of us. So by the end of our freshman year, we're starting to get a little bit better. So we went over to play, and we played the game of our lives. Okay. And it was like 55-53 with about a minute and a half to go. And I was just average player. I was okay, but and on the star. And of course, on our team, there were no stars. But anyway, I stole the ball. And so I'm on our length of the floor, our end of the floor playing defense. And I steal the ball. So I'm driving down the length of the floor to shoot a layup to tie the game. And of course, I get excited and bang that thing off the back of the backboard, and it ricochets almost half court. Missed it. And so anyway, long story short, we ended up getting beat like 59-53. And we'd played our ass off. I mean, we played so well. And we're kind of proud of ourselves, but we're also sick too.
Yeah.
We go in the locker room, and you remember old Poss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Potts Jackson, a legend around these parts, was our coach. He was a freshman coach. And so I got my head down kind of like this, and there was another guy that missed a shot too down the stretch. And he's trying, he got no pause, but he's trying to be nice, but he can't. And he's pissed because we lost, and he goes, well, guys, I'll tell you, y'all played probably the best game I ever saw you play. Looks at me and he goes, Mike, you had your damn chance. Went in there, banked one off the damn backboard. It'd been different if you'd have made it. And then he looked at the other guy. He goes, Randy, you had the same damn thing and you missed it too. There you go. That's 4 points. We probably win the game. And you upset these guys. So that really made me feel good. I'm sitting there and I'm about to die anyway because I knew it. And then he goes, he said that. I'll never forget that. And think about it, old Poss. He was one of those guys that could chew you out, and you knew he loved you, and you knew he cared about you, and you didn't care. Yeah. He could chew you out. I remember one time on another story about him. I was a freshman football. It is summertime, and back in those days, they just killed you. Yeah. You couldn't get a drink of water. You couldn't take your helmet off. It was just, they ought to kill those coaches. They ought to put them in prison for treatment. The way it was. You're sitting out there, it's 150 degrees with that helmet on.
Yeah.
And all that gear on, you're dying. You get a drink once in like 3 hours out there. Can't take your helmet off. So anyway, the freshmen, we were awful. And so they put us up against the sophomores, which were going to be the JV teams, to scrimmage. Well, we didn't know what we were doing. And that JV team, anyway, they just knocked the piss out of me. They come around on a sweep, and I was an outside linebacker, and I bet they hit me clear to Marionville, which is 5 miles away. And I'm rolling. I'm doing somersaults. I'm laying on the ground over there. I'm about to die. And so they carted me, threw me off to the side. I'm just a freshman. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I'm laying over there, and here comes old Poss. After about 5 minutes, he goes, hey, Junior, you didn't see that guy coming, did you? I said, no. He goes, it's the funniest damn thing I ever saw. You somersault across there. You know what I'd do if I was you? I said, what? I'd just lay here for the rest of practice. Out there again. And I'll never forget that. And he goes, no, I'm serious. Just lay over here. You don't need to take any more of that punishment. Oh, that was funny. What a great guy. Of course, you and I got to know him so well.
Yeah.
I came back to Aurora to coach after I'd been away for some years. Poss was still coaching. He and I coached junior high football together. And that's when me and him became real close. And Isaac, I just told a funny story. You didn't think it was funny.
But you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. But anyway, Poss did say he's going to make a man out of me and all that back in those days. I guess he did. But we went to remember Aaron, we used to play golf with him. I think you went, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you go with him? And great golfer and a funniest guy alive.
Yeah, he is. He's still kicking too.
Still alive. He's not. He's got Alzheimer's, but he's still able to. He's over in a veterans home. Yeah. What a man. Fantastic man.
We always used to say there'll be millions at his funeral, but he's outlived all of his.
That's what Sandy and I were talking about the other day, and Sandy says, Darren, I don't know whether you ever were with us, but because you would have been fairly young whenever we went to play golf, and he always brought, if there were 4 of us playing, he brought 4 beers.
Yeah.
Did he bring you a pop? Didn't he bring you a pop? Yeah. So there were 4 of us, and Aaron was. You probably were 21. I don't know.
No, not even close.
Okay, well, time goes by me. So they're going to be talking about me like this here before long, I'm sure. There's be some million. I'm going to live them all too. But anyway, that's not true. But anyway, he'd always bring 4 beers, and with you, it was 3 beers and a pop.
Yep.
You get up to about the next to the last hole, and he'd get those out. He goes, "Okay, boys, here we go. You get to drink one today. That's all."
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he'd give each of us a beer, and then you got a soda pop, and just incredible.
Yep.
One quick story on Isaac just to make him happy.
All right, no, too many stories.
Now, this will
That's
just
it.
take 1 second.
You'll have to tune back Thursday, Isaac, for another story.
Okay.
I can't take 3.
All right, I got you. He's got something else to do, Isaac.
Yeah, no, it's we can't always tell him. All right, go ahead. What is it? One more.
Okay, this is really quick. We were down. Isaac was the manager for our basketball team, and he was the best manager that ever lived. But anyway, before the game, they fed us. Parents would feed us before we went down there, and Isaac ate about 14 pieces of pizza. And we kept telling him, Isaac, don't eat that. Just slow down. You don't, you're going to get a pizza again. You're going to get another one. It's not the last pizza you're ever going to get. So we go down to play. The game's over. And coach looks at me and goes, "Look at Isaac down there." And he's got the trash can. And he's throwing up into that trash can. Oh, my God. It was gross. So his dad comes at the game, and he comes over there, and I said, "He is not riding home on that bus with us. You got it?" He goes, "You think I ought to take him home?" I said, "There ain't no thinking about it. You're taking your son home with you." And Isaac goes, "No, I'm okay. I got it out of my system now." And I said, "No, we're not taking any chances. You're not throwing up on that bus."
No. Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny. Isaac wears glasses. He has glasses off, I guess he thought they were going to fall in the trash can. I don't know. Oh, Isaac, you're a legend.
Isaac says you can see him throwing up on the Huddle highlights.
That's
so Huddle is
where that's absolutely right. That's
for
right.
people who don't know, the Huddle is a place you can go and watch. If you got a password, you can watch all highlights. And yeah, Isaac's throwing up.
Never will forget that as long as I live. That was so funny. That's
Oh man, no, that's funny. That's funny. While you were talking, Birmingham, Alabama is where the Elite Eight is at.
Okay. I don't think we have to worry about it, but that's too far for me to go.
All right. Listen, we'll finish with this. We had Dennis talking and Magic here. Hopefully you guys are still here. The big pay-per-view revolution was last night. Magic, if you're watching, turn it off now because I think he's watching it tonight. I don't want to give him any spoilers. This pay-per-view, oh guys, where do you begin? Top to bottom, I've never watched a show ever as good as this, I don't think. The matches that I thought would be not that great were really, really good. The matches that I thought would be really good were better than I thought they would be even. I told Magic there were 9 matches. I think 8 of them are 4 stars or better. I thought the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match was maybe like a 3-star. I didn't love it. It felt more like a TV match than a pay-per-view match. I mean, but it was still decent. Yeah, Britt Baker had a new AEW championship belt. It was really cool. Guys, the opening match of the show, Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, something I had no interest really in. I thought it was fantastic. I thought they did a great job. Chris Jericho looks good again, and Eddie Kingston, really good performance. The tag match was what it was. That was great if you like that kind of wrestling. The ladder match, I thought it was really well done. It's not easy doing a ladder match with guys that are that big. Those 3 guys, they did a really good job there. I thought I thought Ty and Jade was better than I thought it would be. I mean, CM Punk MJF has been a feud that it's one of the most legendary feuds I think I've ever watched, and I thought that match was great. Moxley and Bryan Danielson, that was just a war. Those guys got to be. I mean, they got to be so sordid, and they beat the hell out of each other. That looked like a real match. I mean, a real fight. And then, like I said, the world title match was I thought a 9 out of 10, 4.5 stars out of 5. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a great pay-per-view. Like I said, end of the day, I was exhausted by the time that was a long show, and every match you just had to pay attention to. It was awesome. It was awesome. Wardlow wins, and he was plus 700 at one time earlier in the year. So, or earlier in the day, I should say. He was. I mean, I thought that was a lock there. So yeah, and then really the pre-show was good too.
You can bet on this?
Yeah, and Wardlow. It was a 6-man ladder match, and Wardlow was plus 700 around like 2 p.m. And I thought he was the favorite to win. Dennis, like 10 minutes before that match, he was even money. So I think people hopped on that. Yeah, William Regal comes out. I mean, my goodness, what an addition that is. Behind the scenes more than anything, that's be great. But if he's going to manage this new faction, holy cow, it's going to be something. So yeah, it was awesome. I mean,
okay,
you can make fun of wrestling all you want.
I got a question though.
Okay,
go ahead and finish.
No, I said you can make fun of it. I mean,
I'm not. I'm quitting it. I'm quitting making fun. But I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
You can bet on something that is scripted.
It's very weird. Yeah. I didn't know you could bet on.
I want to hear anybody bitching about the jockey throwing a race.
Yeah. I thought it was weird, but yeah.
So you can't do this all the time.
No, just the pay-per-views. Dennis bet $50, and we did. We just we're throwing down on that too.
Okay.
We were so confident that he would win. Oh, I just missed the biggest thing. Wardlow wins the ladder match, and then he turns on MJF in the dog collar match, which we felt like it was coming. To me, Wardlow is a superstar. They can do so much with him. They're chanting Wardlow like they used to chant Goldberg back in the day. I mean, people can love Tony Khan or hate Tony Khan. I can't thank him enough for bringing back wrestling the way it was when we were growing up. I mean, it's fantastic what he's doing. I didn't even mention 62-year-old Sting jumping off a balcony onto 3 tables. I mean, I lost my mind. I was like, I can't. This was because the tornado match. I was like, I'm not. This feels like a TV match, and then they go out and do that. And Darby Allin, such a
Stone Cold didn't show up though. He wasn't on there.
Who's that?
Stone Cold, didn't we?
No, he's gonna do WrestleMania. He's in the other league.
Oh, he's in the other league. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was fantastic. It was just it's unbelievable. But Heather and I are going for a week in May to Las Vegas. We're gonna go watch 3 shows. It's really, we just sit here and look forward to it all the time. As soon as we get off, I'll go watch AEW Dark. I mean, I just can't get enough of it right now. What they're doing and the guys they've got, it's really, really, really good. So that's it. That's all I got. Let's see.
What you're betting on is what the script's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows.
I get that.
Nobody knows who's going to win and lose. Like Heather and I sat down last night and went through every match and gave our picks, and we both went 9-3 because there were 9 pay-per-view matches and 3 buy-in matches. So we went 9-3. We were happy with that.
I get that.
Heather missed. She picked Ty to win, and Jade won. And can't remember. We both missed. We both missed Jericho.
Is there a sports book that has this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
like FanDuel or somebody's got that.
I don't know if FanDuel had it. Sportsbook.ag had it or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can get how you could get into betting who you think's going to win. Yeah, because then you're trying to guess what the plan is, whatever.
Yeah. Let me pull up. Magic's into this too. He was talking about it. Yeah. So she picked Eddie. I picked Jericho. And then she picked Red Dragon to win, and I picked Jurassic Express. We both had Wardlow. She picked Ty. I picked Jade. We both picked CM Punk. We both picked Britt Baker. She picked Moxley. I picked Danielson. And then we both picked Sammy, Sting, Darby, and then Adam Page.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Sylvian's got
to. It's funny. I would just go down to the basement. She'd stay upstairs when it started. And it's about 6 months of that. And then she would come down with me and just make fun of it the whole time. And then all of a sudden she was like, who's this Darby Allin guy? This guy is unbelievable. because Darby Allin is tiny, and he will just fly all. I mean, he's one of the best I've ever seen. And so then she's like, "Whoa, who is this? Who are these Lucha brothers, Penta and Rey Fenix?" And all of a sudden, she knows every one of them. And yeah, she's the one that did the Vegas thing. She's like, "No, we got
Wow, this is great.
So Vegas has a show on Wednesday night, Friday night, and then the next pay-per-view on a Sunday. So
When is this? When are you going?
it's the last week in May. It'll be May. I think it's like 23rd through the 30th. We're going.
Okay, that's a good little break for you.
Crazy. It's gonna be crazy. It's right after the Preakness, so that's good. And yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Gonna be a good time. Yeah. Sammy Guevara and Isaiah Cassidy fly off of a, I don't know what you call it, a big prop up through the table. That was, I mean,
What do you mean dying?
well, they didn't die, but they could have.
Like you did.
They grabbed him and he did a flip through it. It was.
I saw some of that on Twitter.
It was unbelievable.
That one guy did that flip. That was pretty good. Somersault. Right?
Which
Right?
one are you talking about?
I don't know. It looked like he jumped off some sort of a ladder and did kind of a forward roll down and hit the guy or something.
Oh yeah. That was when was that? That was that was in the ladder match. That was the third match. It was
Okay.
It was insane. Yeah, that Danhausen came out. That was awesome. He cursed Ricky Starks and then Wardlow powerbombed Ricky Starks onto a ladder. That was wild.
Oh boy.
Oh man, Danhausen.
Last night?
Yes, this was last night. Yeah.
Pay-per-view.
Yes. Yeah. It was great. It was great. Yeah, Mrs. Halterman, a true human indeed.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. She, yeah, like I said.
Well, she's a true human, but in a lot of other ways too.
Oh yeah. She's
Not just because she watches wrestling.
true, very true. Yeah, she's the best, without a doubt. But it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, man. It's fun. I've always been into it. Left it for a long time. Sting came back. Said, "Oh, I'll give this a shot one more time." And I think I'm more into it now than ever.
I do too.
I love this company. I watch the WWE pay-per-views. I don't love them, but I do watch them. I didn't like Royal Rumble. I didn't. Elimination Chamber was okay, but it just didn't do anything for me. But this Revolution, God, it's man. You get your money's worth out of it. It's incredible what these guys can do. They're so talented. So talented, the roster that they have right now. Such a good mix of older guys and younger guys. A guy like Sting, he got hurt in WWE. That was his last time we ever saw him. It's like, what a terrible way for a legend like that to go, just disappear. They bring him in an AEW, and what they've done with him is just perfect. I mean, he's an absolute superstar. And now he's going to go out like that, so that's good news. So anyway, that's my rant. People wanted to hear it, so there it was.
They did. They started out on the first part of the show.
Yep, there's the AEW recap there. It was, like I said, as I was talking, I forgot about this and this and this, and the reason why was every match was an event. There was just not a snoozer on that thing. So it was awesome.
Where was this at?
This was in Orlando at the UCF basketball arena.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, Danhausen came out in the third match, Sylvian. Danhausen came out, cursed Ricky Starks. It was at one time Heather was like, Danhausen's gonna come out. And I was like, I don't think so. And then there he was. So you had everything. You had everything. Oh yeah. Send Hook.
That's okay, Magic Carrots.
So Magic Carrots, as you could probably guess, Hook is very popular in our house. And I like Hook, but that's not why he's very popular in our house. We have a big Hook fan that lives in this house. And she was very excited that Hook was on the buy-in last night. So, yeah. Good. All right, that's it. But Hook is a star for sure. I loved his dad Taz. He was fantastic as well. So, all right, any final thoughts, Papa Dude, before we get off?
No, I think that we have went through it all. That's the thing about this show, folks. We cover everything.
We've covered your basketball playing days. We've covered Isaac throwing up. We've covered women's Division II basketball.
Yeah, which is about as low as it gets.
We've covered wrestling. We've covered NHL, NBA. NCAA basketball, and Kentucky Derby preps. What
That's right.
more do you want?
I don't know. We are versatile.
Yes, Heather is in love with Hook. Yeah. She's got the Hook shirt. Darby's her man, but Hook is a close second. No doubt. We need a curling review. I can't.
We do. That might be our next show. Maybe we can get. I tell you what. Do they curl in July?
If they do, we'll cover it. Yes, because when we have something,
You get us going on that one, Sylvian, because in July we need some content. I hope they do. I'll start researching that and do some previews on the curling events coming up.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, that's it. We've done an hour and 30 minutes. That's all we can give you people, you know.
What do you want?
Yeah. Heather's top 3: Darby, Hook, and Magic. Not Magic Carrots, the real Magic. That's her top 3. So
all right. I tell you. Sylvie says no chance for curling. Well, it's in the Winter Olympics. I should have guessed that.
Okay. Isaac really wants to be on the show soon. Maybe he's our next guest. See. He could be our next guest.
I'll have to do a cameo.
He's let us know 1, 2, 3, 4. He really wants to be on the show.
We'll see what we can do, Isaac.
What channel is the wrestling on? Is that the question? If so, TBS and TNT. I don't know if you get that in Canada or not.
I imagine they do. I would think so.
Yeah, TBS on Wednesday nights. I think you said you're in the Eastern time zone. So Wednesday night on TBS at 8, and then Friday night on TNT at 10. That will be your 2. And then sometimes they'll do a Saturday show special, but usually it's Wednesdays and Fridays. And then you can go watch their YouTube shows on Mondays and Tuesdays as well.
He says watch handicap curling. Are they in wheelchairs?
I don't know.
Blind?
I don't know what you're talking about there.
I'm sure there's some sort of a handicap. I don't know.
I think maybe watch a show about handicapping.
Oh yeah, that could be. Maybe. Yeah.
It is on TSN up here. Okay. Oh, watch a show about handicapping. Oh, I got. Yeah. I can't get into it. Oh, he's talking about wheelchairs.
There we go.
Well, that's interesting. I would tune in to see what that's all about.
Interesting. I think it would be cool if it was wheelchair and the person was blind also.
That would be tough. Oh, it's really an Olympic.
I'll be darned.
Wow. Good for curling. Okay, we got to get out of here. People have had enough, I think. So, all right, folks, we'll be back Thursday. It's going to be big-time college basketball on Thursday. We're going to preview those conference tournaments. I think that's going to be one fun show, and we're going to have a great weekend as well. Tampa Bay Derby coming up this weekend as well. We'll have a lot of coverage on that. Of course, all the normal videos you're used to will be out this week. Just check out the YouTube channel and Blinkers Off, Magic Mike, all that stuff as well. So if you like us, we're not going anywhere. We'll be here. So, all right, guys, we will see you on Thursday.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels, never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,